How hard was it to kill a knight? Knights were very skilled. What do I mean by skill? They practiced the fighting art to perfection in order to possess and utilize the skill set of the highest order, devoid of any error. When it comes to chess, it is important that you keep things simple. When it comes to the opening, the middle game, and the end game, all of the strategic ideas, common middle game positions, and typical tactics are all easy to understand if you keep it simple. Now let's get to the game. The pawn on c4 is a common target for black. The bishop on a6 threatens to capture that pawn. Notice black's setup, for instance, bishop b7 along with knight f6 and bishop on f8 all work in a concerted effort to impede white's efforts to gain full control of the center by playing the pawn from e2 to e4. After bishop b4 check, here's a key reminder. For white, it is that in a position such as this, it is always wise to preserve the knight, particularly the knight on b1. The correct reply to bishop b4 check is bishop to d2. If, however, knight on b to d2, then white will lose a center pawn after bishop c3, followed by rook d1, and bishop takes d4. So after bishop d2, pawn to a5, both sides castle, king side, knight c3.
Black is about to demonstrate good technique. Finish development to consolidate, and only after white threatens to play e4 does black capture the c3 knight.
Following the advice from an international chess competitor, black completes development first. And after swinging the rook over to e1, now white threatens to play the pawn to e4. This capture is known as removing the defender, particularly the defender of the e4 square. Now that black's got a grip on e4, the next step is to gain more queenside space with moves such as pawn to a4, queen to b8, and pawn to c5.
What should white do? Well.
Where's me advisor?
Well, the opinion is in favor of the grip that black has on the queen side and the center.
In the previous continuation, white captured the bishop on e4. This time, white gets some clarity first by capturing the pawn on b3. Notice that knight takes e4 would be followed up with knight takes e4, and black would be attacking the bishop on c3. Now white turns the tables.
News report. White has succeeded in making a central breakthrough.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
The move to d5 opens up the battery along the a1 to h8 diagonal. And not only does white get e4 in, but will follow up with the pawn from f2 to f4. Notice the pawn barricade in the center. When the center is blocked, play switches to the wings. Now this is when white shows his teeth. There are already 4 pieces exerting pressure on e5. The f4 pawn, the knight on f3, the queen on b2, and the bishop on c3. Take a look at the board. This is the starting position. The rest of the game will be a good illustration of my theme, Night Fire.
In pursuit of the enemy king.
Notice how white hasn't taken the pawn on e5, but instead keeps the central tension. This is based on the positional concept that teaches sometimes the threat of capturing a piece is stronger than the execution.
Night fire. Night fire.
Nightfire.
And now I will conclude this video by showing you one of the games that I played on Lichess. This is my Nightfire. I was playing the white pieces. My opponent was a cat.